Look, I see matches in the kingdom. I see hunters slaying demons. I see fire on this earth coming down like Hiroshima. I see prophets rising up, prophesying scriptures cut. I see Christ, he coming back, and he black, he look like us. I see it, I see it, I see it, I see it, I see it.
We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a nonviolent Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat as stated in Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1.
Please, thank you. Yes, sir. Hey, Shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Welcome to the Late Show on Thursday. Precept upon precept. We're your host. I'm Captain Shem.
Officer Matthew.
Officer Mikael.
Officer Micah.
All praise to the Most High. And with that, we're going to, our format, we're going to transition right to Officer Micah and the Watchman Report. Take it away, Officer Micah.
Hey, Shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ. Bless. Okay, make sure my forehead was shining. All right, let's go ahead and get right into the articles. Hey, lose your hair, save money on shampoo. 7 gang members convicted of breaking into 50 cars across Cherokee County. Look at them, y'all. The Negras strike again, and they facing RICO charges. Hey, the scriptures say, thou shalt not steal. Jake ain't got it yet. Next article. Around 350 Pakistanis were on migrant boats that sank off Greece, and many still missing, officials say. They ain't talking about how many our people were thrown overboard on them slave ships. They sure as hell can report on these Pakistanis, though. We got a just guide. Florida woman who shot black neighbor through door. Florida woman who shot black neighbor through the door won't face murder charges. Will not. This is CBS News, Caucasian broadcast. You know what Bishop say. All right, last but not least, the reason U.S. response to the Russian rebellion has been decidedly cautious. And that concludes the Watchman Report.
We start our show with the Watchman Report. Y'all check out the articles Officer Micah brought forth because it's going on in the news today. Let's pull up. We always start with the meme, the thumbnail. Officer Mikael, explain this. And by the way, shout out to Officer Mikael. A lot of times I don't get the topic till him until the day before or sometimes the day of. So he does it within hours. So just break it down what we're looking at here.
Hey, all praises to the Most High. So tonight's topic is, oh, what a sick world, the declining decadent ego. So what we have here is the declining U.S. dollar. We also have images of GMOs being, the GMOs because they're messing with our food. In the top corner there, we have a young girl wrapped in the LGBTQ flag. And the sign next to her says, I want trans kids to become trans adults. And in the bottom corner, we actually have some trans adults. And in the midst of all this, we have the black woman twerking in the middle.
Wow. Yeah, shout out to the Writings of the Wall, Captain Matthias. He showed earlier tonight, those of you who log in to Thursday night show lineup, he showed outside of Elmina Castle, which I went with Captain Matthias on that trip, as well as Bishop Nathaniel and Captain Shai, Deacon Isaac, is these negresses were twerking right outside where our forefathers were in the cell. We went into the cell. We went into the place called the Door of No Return, and that's just it was a all eerie feeling, and it felt very dark. And so for them sisters to do that is just straight up disgusting and wicked. They're spitting on their forefathers. Let's start right at the beginning. Let's start with number 1. So the first half of the show is pull that thumbnail up real quick. So we're gonna start off with dealing with what a sick state of this. When I say sick, I'm talking about evil, twisted, and just shock value. The things that go on in the United States of America, led by the so-called white man, is behind it all. Then the second half of the show, after Kingdom Music, we're gonna do Bible verses, break, Kingdom Music, come back, and we're gonna do the declining decadent eagle, because that's what happened to Rome. It was the age of decadence. They fell. We are living in an age of decadence where this so-called white man in America, whose symbol is the eagle, is declining. All right. So let's start right off with number 1. All right. Number 1. I think you got it ordered. Okay, look. So you might say, well, why are we showing a brother with a gold chain on talking about cotton? So we're going to show you that this white man in America, when you read about, give me Revelation chapter 11 real quick. Not only does America do horrible things abroad, okay, in the very breadbasket of America, in the southern states, there is literally slavery going on to this very day. And it's called the 13th Amendment. And we've talked about it before. Many bishops and deacons have had classes on it. But this story, I came across this on the TikTok. I'm not really good with tech, but I figured it out how to navigate a little bit, okay? Read this, Revelation 11. And I'm going to drink this, y'all. It's late. I've got to stay up. Sodom and Egypt. Revelation 11.
Yes, sir. The Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8.
Sorry.
And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
Come on.
Which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Sodom and Egypt. Because remember, in Egypt, we were slaves, right? So let's play the TikTok video and let's let the brother tell us. I'm not even going to interrupt at all. You need to hear his experience, because a lot of you black people and Hispanic people, you are completely clueless. That's why you dumb, ignorant black women who twerk don't even realize that you are one fight away, you're one felony away where something like this can happen to you. All right? Watch this.
Slavery exists until I went to prison. See, I can speak about slavery, right? Because I've been a slave. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery unless you've been convicted of a crime.
Sorry.
Do you
go back. Let's just read that, because they put it up there. We don't have to go look for it. Rewind it. If Officer Michael, would you be so kind to read that, because the 13th Amendment they actually posted it, and then we're gonna let him talk. Should be able to.
I did not know slavery exists until I went to prison. See, I can speak about slavery, right? Because I've been a slave. The 13th Amendment.
Pause. So we're gonna read it.
Okay, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. 13th Amendment, United States Constitution. He was forced to pick cotton in jail.
So y'all hear that? That's the key word. Neither slavery or an involuntary servitude, except that means it is perfectly legal if it falls under the 13th Amendment laws where have been convicted, duly convicted of a crime. Now, there are many black men in this country and Native Americans and men of color who have been unjustly convicted of crimes, and it still happens to this day. We're going to let the whole thing play out.
Abolish slavery unless you've been convicted of a crime. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I got you.
I'm inventory at the age of 17, a slave for the state of Texas to serve 8 years of servitude.
real quick, I'm from Texas, and they got a saying: you come on vacation, you leave on probation. They don't just get you like right with the serious offense. They catch you with probation, and then with probation, they slow roll it. Like, let's say they get you for probation. You got to report to a probation officer. Then you have to pay restitution to this probation officer. And then if you don't do that, they gradually just, that's how they get you into the system. They start slow, and then they may just get you right over the way. But I know that probation, that's a trap.
I'm telling you, y'all, those of us who are spiritual, which is everybody in this room, everybody listening, I want you to, as he's talking, because I was imagining myself, right? I want you all to, and this is the sick world we live in right now, okay? I want you to close your eyes if you have to. I want you to imagine, and if you're a woman, imagine that it's your brother or your husband, somebody you really, really love. Make it personal, and I want you to listen and try to make it personal.
A slave for the state of Texas to serve 8 years of servitude in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
Now, why you say a slave? Because some people think that, hey, once you're there, you just get a bunk bed, you get a book, and you get to just sit there in boring silence for the rest of your days.
You asked me why I said slavery?
Let's go.
Have you ever seen a nigga pick cotton?
Nah.
Where have you seen a nigga pick cotton at?
Never in my life.
A slave, though.
Oh, slave. Yeah.
Nigga, I was sent to pick cotton. That's why I said.
Oh,
I was sent to sit.
Pause there. So for all you Negroes out there that say slavery never happened in my lifetime, that's your example right there. That's exactly how slavery happens in your lifetime right now. You can play it.
That's why I said.
Oh, so wait. So
I was sent to sit. I ain't never seen nothing but a slave pick cotton.
Wait. So
yeah.
You have actually picked cotton off the cotton plant.
I have picked cotton off the cotton plant. Texas Department of Criminal Justice, you pick cotton off the cotton plant.
I
go out here to the fields, and this is something me and you would never think exists. Right around the corner here, it's plantations of nothing but cotton. The South Empire was built on cotton, and they hadn't changed it in the 90s. We was here to pick it. And look, when I got to the field, I'm like, I'm not picking that shit, nigga. I'm not no motherfucking slave. They drew their guns. You ask what happened. Yeah. You say what happened. Yeah. Right? Oh, they trained for niggas. Oh, you one of them niggas. You think you ain't gonna pick, huh?
Yeah.
You think you Kunta, Toby? Roll right up me on them guns, told me get down on my hands and knees or they gonna shoot me. That's what I'm telling you. You are a slave. They have the right to kill you if you pose a threat to leave in this structure. No, damn. This is jail.
So
I am a slave. If I run, they shoot me in the back.
How many times you thought of running?
None. Well, what you mean?
So let me, at any point, did you feel like, man, if we all get in this together, we can overtake this shit?
That shit sound good,
right,
bro. That shit sound good.
So I just want to point out, much like we hear the conversation of a lot of black people, man, I would have never been no slave. I would have never did nothing like that. You got a brother right here. They asked him, how many times you thought about when he said none? When you got a pistol to your face and a choice whether to live or die, pick this cotton or eat the dirt, what you gonna pick? The cotton. That's the one you gonna pick. And all these people that talking about slavery was so long ago, it ain't even that serious. Yeah, you hearing it from the mouth of a black man in the 21st century that picked cotton as punishment because he was a slave. These prisons are built on slave labor still today. Slavery is still in effect. They call it the judicial system. Go ahead, play it.
To that, right? So to this point here, right? They made me get on the ground. One of them got off the horse.
Stop. He said one of them got off the horse. They said one of them got off the horse. That shows you they're in the position of power. They're the taskmasters. The taskmasters was on the horse with the whips. Now those whips are pistols. And you're not getting beat in your back, you're getting shot in your back. Go ahead, play it.
horse, if I made any moves, you get smoked. They get a free kill. They got notches on their shit from niggas they done killed.
Yeah.
They keeping the score. Do you hear what I'm saying? That's why I say, let's not play with this shit. This is slavery. This is my first day. I'm like, you, what the fuck is this?
You still a child? Yeah, you still a kid?
Too.
You what, 17, 18?
I'm 17.
17.
Like, what the fuck is this? Make me get on my knees.
Pause real quick. Excuse, I should have pre-warned. There are some swears, parents, please, if you had put the kids in the house, in the room, whatever, or just plug their ears. But just, I really want, he's about to say some stuff that's coming up. Try to get angry, get mad, because it's going on 2023. It's going on 2022. It's going to go on 2024. Slavery exists. It's really, really exists. Play on.
Cuff me, right? And I'm thinking this, well, at least I get a ride back in the building. I'm out this shit. They got me fucked up. No, that's not happening, bro. Guess what they do? You know, do they whip you? They don't whip you, right? This is what they do. It's hot outside right now, right? Yeah. They have a trailer. Everybody know of a trailer, like they go on the back of a truck. Yeah. They have a trailer that's enclosed with a fence, a regular fence. Yeah. They handcuff you in this trailer, put you in this trailer like this, no seats in the trailer or nothing, for the rest of the day. Welcome to burning hell. I'm telling you, I've been a slave.
Hey, that sounds like the sweat box that was on the plantation. It is a sweat box. It's the same thing. They're showing you their playbook don't change. This man is the devil. He was the devil, then he's the devil. Now he's going to be the devil in the future.
Hey, just to back you up on that, we went on a tour to Whitney Plantation, and they had a thing called a hot box. And it was exactly like that. It was a big iron box, and any slave, well, they whooped the slave and then put him in there. But for this one, you just got hot beaming sun on you in an iron trailer. So you want a hot iron trailer laying down with the sun beating on you. They don't need to touch you because that sun going to do everything for you.
It actually looked like aluminum, and aluminum holds that temperature way longer than steel or iron.
So y'all he's almost done. I want us to hear this, brother, because.
And that shit ain't nothing to play with. I can tell you this, though. By day 6, I was the best cotton picking nigga they ever had down in that motherfucker. Look here, look here. And I wasn't the only one. It was some stiff cotton picking niggas down there. Do you hear what I'm saying? Hey, nigga, I'm telling you the honest truth, meaning they have perfected on mentally and physically breaking niggas. And listen, if you got 2 out of line, I'm finna get to your story too. Listen, that's them breaking you. After that, if you get 2 out of line, them niggas will whoop you out there. Hey, you fucking it up for everybody. Nigga, if boss man say this nigga ain't acting right, them niggas will whoop you out there. So I went from that to having fights out there. And guess what? Fight, win, lose, or draw.
Pause. So why did, and it's truth, this shouldn't shock us, right? Because, you know, even in our jobs today, we still get whipped by our boss. And it's a mental whooping. All right. This don't surprise me at all. It is painful because I'm not gonna stay numb to it. When I listen to that, I say, well, damn, that really could be me. And how would I really react after the first 5 minutes of having my handcuffs behind the back in that trailer? Okay, bam, what about an hour later? Now the sun comes down. I could cry to somebody, no one come to help me. No one come to help me. And that goes to show you that God, the God of the Bible, is the King of terrors. And because we do not want to fall in line and bow down and worship the one true God, he will make us bow to our enemies. Get me Amos, in the lower state shall they seek me. Is it 5 and 20? Amos, let me see. Is it Hosea? I get them two mixed up. In their 5:15. Thank you. In their affliction. So why are we showing this? Because the first half of the show is labeled the sick world. And these are not Africans, these are not East Indians, these are not Chinese. What you're going to find is the stem and the root of the vast majority of evil in this sick world. You're going to find your friendly neighborhood Caucasian behind it all right? And the Lord is showing us the understanding that we must turn back to him. Read.
The book of Hosea, chapter 5, verse 15.
Come on.
I will go and return to my place.
That's right.
Till they acknowledge their offense.
And our hope and prayer is that we, like that brother, after the show, we're going to find out his name. We can track that through TikTok. We're going to send him a flyer. Because a brother like that, I think he's a young man still. He might have been for a couple years, but listen, 12 days of that will wake your ass up. Brothers understand that we literally live these curses. Read on.
And seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early.
And when you're going through hell, what are you looking for? You're looking for some relief from God. You're looking for some salvation, some deliverance from the Most High. So I wanted to start off with that because that was, when I watched that, I said, damn, man, that thing hit me. I was driving. I said, I got that. And if you are a real brother who really, a lot of people just ignore it, man. No, you have to know. What if that was me? What if that was my son? You know how you get really mad if you got children? Just imagine you're a little man. Imagine they locked little man up and you had to, you was looking for him. You couldn't do nothing to help him. And that was your son or my son. That brother could be my brother. This is your brother, his brother. And that happened to him in our lifetime. And everybody here lifetime in this room, even the young ones. All right, so we're going to switch it up. Let's go to number, now, actually, go to number 3 first. And I'm going to show you that if these little niggas here keep doing this, they're going to end up right in the jail, being whooped by the master. Number 3, then we're going to go to number 2. And we don't like to celebrate over the lower state of our people. But we got to talk about it because who I'm most disappointed in is the stupid ass that actually took this picture. That's the one is the stupidest of them all. Okay? And I pray it was a child and not an adult because something's telling me it was an adult. Play.
And first on Fox this morning, St. Louis police are trying to identify and find 5 teens. They are wanted for questioning in last weekend's mass shooting downtown. It left 1 teen dead and 11 others hurt. We want you to take a close look.
Pause real quick. So, and this is forget about the guns for now, right? I want you to look very carefully at their faces. Look at their eyes. Look at them. They're not even old enough to make they're making a decision to ruin their life, whether they know it or not. These are boys. These are misguided boys. These are children. And the reason why they are like that is because God's laws are not being kept by their parents. And I'm not saying there's not a bad apple because there were laws on Deuteronomy. If your son was beyond, you bring him to the gates of the city. But these are, give me Isaiah, they're hidden prison houses. Isaiah, is it 42? I'm not the greatest scripture quoter. What's going to happen if young men like this do not, and it's our job, you prophets, it's your job, these flyer missions, these community cleanups, these prophesying on the street corners, these classes, these radio shows. It's our job to get through the mind and the convoluted state of young brothers like this. It's our job. Because the Christian church, every one of them is a Christian. Okay? I would be willing to bet that almost every one of them parents of these young black boys, Israelite boys, are Christians. So the Christian pastors has failed the black community 100%. Play.
Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
And how are we spoiled? Because we are spoiled because we've been left out. Meaning, if you have a perfectly good plate of food, and if you do not refrigerate it gets spoiled, meaning it's of no value anymore. These children are spoiled. they're left out. And when they become infected, they're of no value. Now, I still see value. Officer, we still see value in these young men. As soon as they get a rap sheet, like you said, Officer Micah, as soon as you get in the system, oh, he got one felony. That's why felonies are bad. Misdemeanors alone put you on the radar. Now they got a black boy that's 16, 15 that's got a juvenile felony. If then he gets in the system, now it's hard for him to get a job. He becomes an adult. And every time there's a record that follows him. Read it again.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
Robbed of what? Their culture. Their culture is that thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not eat the swine. Okay? Honor thy parents both in word and deed. That's the culture that they were robbed of. Why? Through slavery. In the plight of the black feminism, we did a show on it. The abortion rates right after Roe versus Wade came up, it changed the whole black structure. Welfare, poverty, okay, school to prison pipeline, all these things have destroyed and robbed the Israelites. Good, Officer Matt.
Hey, and why we not blaming the fathers? Because we been blaming the fathers. Daddy's been taking the blame. Black men been taking the blame. Nobody puts blame on these black women that's raising these boys out there doing all of that stuff. A lot of it's statistically proven black men are the most involved in their children's lives.
We did a show on that.
Yep.
We have proof.
Black men are the most involved in their children's lives. A lot of times it's black women, they use the system against the black man, weaponize their children, and then their children get weapons, and then the white man become their daddy. That's why we're not blaming the fathers.
Hey, so read that again, please.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
Robbed and spoiled.
They are all of them snared in holes.
And what are the holes, man? A hole is something. When you get into a hole, now you're in a disadvantage and you got to try to get out. And that's why they call the ghetto a trap. Because it's a trap. From day one, you have to fight the pressure, peer pressure of gangs. You got to fight. You a herb if you don't have sex by 14. These kids are having sex at 11 and 12 years old like it's nobody's business now. Everything is against you. That's why if you in Chicago, what some of the brothers told me in Chicago, that they have a big party if you make it to 30 years old in Chicago. Like that's like white people are just they're getting their second house. We are in holes, man. Read on.
And they are hid in prison houses.
And that's what happens. That's why we showed you the brother. A lot of black people in Texas, in that state, don't even know there's cotton fields and there's slaves through the 13th Amendment who look like them, who might have grown up with them, that are picking cotton in that field. And it's not just cotton they're picking. They're making license plates. They're doing all other laborious work that, and by the way, I think they do get paid like 13 cents a day or something like that goes in their books. Some reprehensibly low rate, okay? Read on.
They are for a prey, and none delivereth.
They are for a prey. That's why we are victims. That's why he was 17 years old. So that means by the time he got processed, he was a true 17. Okay, there's everything. White kids mess up when they're 17 years old. They get all these different chances. But they will throw the book at our children. Okay, 17 years old in that state might be different. Go back to that video. Damn, it's already 10:05. Go back to that video real quick. So this video, I see misguided boys with very dangerous weapons that, and we all know as fathers. First thing I would have did if I saw that picture, number one, first thing I'm going to do is this. I'm going to take his phone. I'm going to break it in front of him. Then I'm going to Home Depot and get a solid core door. I'm bored. I am going to barricade this dude in. And then I'm going to take about a week off from work. And every day I'm going to be in this dude's face. And I'm going to remind this dude. And I'm going to tell him stories. I'm going to show him pictures. I'm going to show him inside the prisons. I'm going to bring my boy to a prison. Anything I could do to get through to him, to let him know that this is wrong. I'm going to make his life hell as long as I can. Because if I don't make his life hell, guess what? He going to have hell when he get in that prison house. So, and everybody talk ish about Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson made the Jackson 5 and made all of the success of Michael Jackson because through strict discipline of a black man. And that's what our society's missing is strong black men who put the fear of God in their children and consistently follow up with that. Not just have one speech. Every day you got to call, what's going on with you, man? I need to know what's going on. How was your day today? What happened to you, man? What's happening? Tell me what. And that's what black kids need. Black kids need consistency. They need a consistent parent in their life, constantly checking on them, asking them what they're going on, and helping them get through their struggles. 70% of our black boys out there, they have to grow up by their damn self. And if they grow up and they learn stupid lessons from other dumb brothers who made the same mistakes that the brothers before them made because they didn't have nobody rational, somebody that had been through things, somebody that understands credit scores, understands savings, and you get out the hood. Listen, you can get real estate. You can do these things. You can get the things that you want in life. You don't have to rely on stupid crap like this. Okay? Play on, sorry.
Picture here on your screen, you can see they are all holding guns here. We normally do not air pictures like this, but police are hoping someone watching will recognize them. If you do, you are asked to call the Homicide Division of the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department or Crime Stoppers at the number there on your screen. It's 1-866-371-TIPS. And remember, all pieces of information and tips can remain anonymous.
So pause, without getting too much into it, I think that they broke some laws. You're not supposed to show the face of a juvenile without the parental permission. And I think there's a case that they may have because you will not see that with a white child. And those of you who are watching the show, you can research to find out, is it legal in the state of Missouri to show a child? And maybe this is special. Maybe I'm wrong, but I believe that they're doing that. That is not supposed to do that, and I believe that the parents have to challenge that because, especially if they did, if they were just stupid enough to pose with guns. How do we even know that they're real guns? But the point is that they're stupid enough. The person that took that picture is stupid enough to actually post that on social media. All right.
Hey, to your point. Go ahead. To your point about the lack of a father being in their lives, right? There was we played the video a while back on the show. There was a father that caught slack for slapping his son upside the head on live because he actually did the same thing. Yeah. He was on a live video with a gun with his little friends, and he remember the father told his friend, "Y'all roll up and come save him now. Come get him now." And the father caught slack for actually being the father.
Because that's what they do. They shame fathers for doing what Cap said that he would do, for doing what the brother on the video said that he did. They shame us into being docile fathers. A lot of times, a lot of brothers, and I find that out here in New Orleans, a lot of these little dudes doing crimes, they come from a two-parent household. Their father is right there. But they go to public school, and they listen to their friends, and they watch what's on television, and their heroes are these dumb rappers that be posing in these videos with guns and all of that stuff, mimicking a lifestyle that they know nothing about, and they end up paying the ultimate price, either dead or they're going to be like their other brother picking cotton for the rest of their life, getting whooped by another brother.
A prime example of that is a multi-millionaire by the name of Ja Morant comes from a two-parent home, wants to play little thug on the internet, and got suspended for 25 games. Now he ain't making no money.
Listen, y'all, and so we remember the first half of the show is about this sick world. Now, let's go to number 2, because what's going on in this country, y'all saw Juneteenth. There were an incredible number of mass shootings just over the weekend of Juneteenth. We were in Monroe, Louisiana, I believe. So this is this is a TikTok video, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, YouTube, short YouTube video. So this guy basically gives a good summary of 2023 in the amount of mass shootings that have happened. And by the way, we're only halfway through the year, a little bit more than halfway through the year, right? Listen to the staggering statistics that this I had to watch. I said, and this guy, this is legitimate. Y'all are going to be shocked if you don't know this already. Play.
2023 is the worst year for mass shootings in America for at least a decade. More incidents, more injuries, and more deaths. A mass shooting is one where 4 or more people are killed or injured. 10 years ago, there were 90 mass shootings in the first 5 months of the year. So far this year, 263. So why is this happening? Well, for gun advocates, there's a simple explanation.
Mental illness and hatred pulls the trigger.
But it's a lot more complicated than that. The majority of active shooter incidents involve people without a mental health diagnosis. One study found that 9 in 10 people who carried out mass casualty attacks had personal issues in the lead up to that event.
So the common consensus is that, oh, he must be schizophrenic. This person must be that, must have a mental disability. And please, by all means, research this. But a lot of these people are able to get driver's license, hold down jobs. To hold down a job, to have a driver's license, to be able to function as an adult in the society means you have a certain amount of mental clarity. And that's what they're finding, that a lot of these people that do this, they're just fed up with society. And they go on these binges. Why? Because look in the last 30 years, look at your video games. Look at the culture of violence. When you go to a movie, look how many, the guy shoots up, hit one banana clip and he shot 400 rounds. It's like, it's a culture of kill or be killed. That's what's pushed in America. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of these video games, these what they call them, first-person shooter games or whatever, they're too real. They're way too real. That's why the brother that did the Edomite that did the shooting in Buffalo, that was like a video game.
Right.
That was like a video game. He had the camera right here. Everybody he was just walking through, literally killing people. But the people watching, they're desensitized to it because it's just like a video game. You know what I'm saying? They do this stuff, and with white folks, they say, "Oh, he must have had a mental disorder." But with black people, we super predators.
Hey, real quick, we'll let that play out and then jump to number 7 because we got some statistics from Forbes magazine. That he said 250 something, but it's actually, as of today, it's actually over 300. 300 mass shootings in the U.S. Y'all, listen, we are living in a truly sick, twisted world, okay? And particularly in the United States of America,
divorce or health complications. But these issues affect people the world over. So what makes America different? Well, it's the guns. Almost half of all civilian-owned firearms in the world are found here in America. That's nearly 400 million guns. And for reference, there's only about 330 million people who live in America. 2023 is...
All right, go ahead.
They go back to the numbers. They missed that. Did you hear the numbers? It went right over everybody's head. That's belt-fed ammo. I don't know what the hell you need that for. That's military grade right there. Just look real quick. Go back to the numbers so I can tell you how many guns and how many people got them.
That's nearly 400 million guns. And for reference, there's only about 330 million people who live in America.
So 330. And how many millions of guns? So pretty much
about 70 million more guns than people.
There you go.
And that means that if there's, let's say there's 330 million people, that means that there's a gun for every senior citizen, every adult, male and woman, and every baby and every child. And then, like you said, Upsmaker, 70 million additional guns. It is a problem with the people that are pulling the triggers, but you don't. If you look at the world statistics, you do not have any mass shootings on the level that you have in the United States. It's not even close. Some people were asking Africa, hey, why wouldn't you like to move to America? And it's common knowledge. Why would I move to a place where you can walk into the mall and they'll just shoot you? So let's check out these Forbes. We're going to do a little bit of reading. Why are we going over this? Because we are living in a sick world. Okay, read, excuse me.
More than 300 U.S. mass shootings recorded halfway into 2023. This year is on pace to be deadliest ever.
So when that YouTube video that we just listened to, it said about 250. So within, and that's a little less than a month old. So they're averaging, if you take 300 and divide it by 6, right? Their 300 divided by 6 is about 50. So do y'all understand that that's 50 mass shootings a month in this country? Do y'all don't understand?
With all of those months having 2 a day.
Right, damn near. Damn near. This is crazy. You gotta really understand. And this is the home of the free and the brave, the home of democracy, where we, as the United States, we push our morals on the rest of the world. Meanwhile, we've got things like this happening. Read on.
More than 300 mass shootings have occurred across the country this year, according to data compiled by the Gun Violence Archive.
So you might think, well, these brothers here just go ahead and go look at the Gun Violence Archive and check the data for yourself. Okay, read on.
As 2023 remains on pace to become the deadliest year for mass shootings in recent history.
Right.
The U.S. has reported 311 mass shootings in 2023.
Scroll back up because I want to see the date of this article. I believe it's June 19th. So this article is a little more than a week old. And if you actually click on up to June 29th, it has grown in the last 11 days. There have been, I think, another 20-something more in the last 11 days. It's crazy. Okay. Matter of fact, there was 2 this week. I got a video of one. Read the key points again. We're flying, y'all.
The U.S. has reported 311 mass shootings in 2023 as of early Monday morning, according to Gun Violence Archive. The total number of mass shootings crossed the 300 mark on Sunday, the earliest in any year. This gruesome milestone has been reached since the GVA began tracking them in 2014.
Right. And they started tracking them because of what's happened in the United States. Okay, read on.
In comparison, in 2021 and 2022, the 2 deadliest years for mass shootings in the U.S., the 300 mark was reached on June 25th and July 3rd.
So we're actually, unfortunately, on track that it's worse than those years. Come on.
Respectively. The GVA defines a mass shooting as 4 or more people, excluding the shooter being shot. The difference in every stalker when comparing mass murders.
Scroll down real quick. There's one other part. We're gonna move on. Let me see something that says, series of Juneteenth, and then we'll move on to the next article.
A series of mass shootings across the country over Juneteenth weekend left at least 6 people dead and several injured. According to the Associated Press, at least 20 people were shot, resulting in 1 death in a Chicago area suburb on Saturday night at a Juneteenth celebration event.
You see that? So it's not just the city. Now that this is going to the suburbs as well. So this is why it's the culture. There's a white dude named Ben Shapiro that be cutting the hell out of black people, ignorant as black people. And he says it's not race. He said it's the culture. And he's right about that. Let me tell you why. Because black people with the right culture, we change things, like Black Rosewood, like many other times when we had, what's the other one? Rosewood, Black Wall Street, to name a few, Lake Lanier, where we had economies that thrive and we had culture and values and businesses. So it's the culture that's causing this. It's not because we're black. Give me Deuteronomy 7:6. We actually have the best. We built the best. And we have the wrong culture, which is God's laws, and we go away from that. This is when you see us in a very, very low estate. And people don't want to talk about this. And that's why you have the liberal left, and not that I'm a Democrat or Republican, they push a victim mentality for black people. That's what welfare in Section 8 is a crutch for black people. It does not give us the desire to help. Well, now, I'm not saying that welfare shouldn't be there, because some people, you need it for a couple of years to get on your feet. But I'm talking about 3 generations. You live in the projects for 3 freaking generations? Okay, read.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
That's right.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
That's right.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
And black people, we are the best. We are the best dancers, the best singers. We are the best doctors, the best lawyers. We are the best of the best of the best if we are in the right mind. And it's been proven time and time again. Okay? Go back. I think we might have been done with that article. Get ready to go to break? Okay. Real quick, before we go to break, there's two more things I want to look at. One mass shooting video. I want to give you an example. I had one, but I tell you what. We're going to switch gears real quick. They have a bean. This is the, Osmiko put up on about genetic modified. And we could actually do really a show just on this. I want to show you something else that's going on, and it's sick. Shout out to Sister Sharon. Sister Sharon is a sister. A lot of brothers and sisters send different things, and we appreciate you sending things for ideas for the show. Appreciate you. Go to number 6, and then we're going to go to Officer Mikhail with Bible verses, and then our break. So we are really holding time tonight. Y'all, listen. This white man is he's something real special. Real special. Okay, read that.
Soya beans made more meat-like by adding genes for pig proteins. Let me read it again. Soya beans made more meat-like by adding genes for pig proteins.
So it's kind of hard. Soya beans made more meat-like, meaning the beans become more meat-like by adding genes from friggin' pigs. This is the sick. Read on.
A company called Mulek has created transgenic soya beans called piggy soy, in which a quarter of the protein is pig protein rather than plant protein.
So these are beans. These are beans. These are beans that these sick, twisted, evil people are putting animal DNA in the friggin' bean. They're doing this. Give me Ezekiel 9. Yeah. We are being defiled. That's what I'm telling y'all. And we get back to law back attack. You all should eat less. Because when you eat less, it's better for you according to the scriptures. And it's less pollution that you put in. Ezekiel 9 verse 6, I think it is. We would eat our bread to 5. We would eat our bread defiled amongst the Gentiles. It's either 5 and 4, 4 and 5. Let me look at it.
Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 13.
I don't write these down. It just comes to my head. Read.
And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles.
Now, when we were in the Roman Empire, what we would do is some of our brothers had a conscience where, don't go to that temple because they sacrifice the meats to other gods. And so we were defiled in that way. Nowadays, we are literally being defiled because they're genetically altering the physical state and the properties of the cells of the friggin' food we're eating. It's sick, man. Okay, and they started doing it in 1994 because they wanted to, with a tomato. They wanted the tomato. They showed an example of a real ripe tomato. And the issue with tomatoes and fruits and vegetables, when you do not genetically modify, it goes bad quicker because it's not supposed to last that long on the shelf. It's supposed to be fresh. That's why you say fresh produce, right? Esau and his infinite evil, because it's all about a capitalist mindset to try to make money. Well, if I can keep these tomatoes on the shelf for another 8 weeks, I can hold out and keep them longer to sell. And this is why it is very important that we get our own gardens and get our own food, raise our own food. All right. Shout out to Officer Mike and Officer Gabe, our very own here in the room. We're trying to do community garden, just being general about it. All of us need to do community gardens. We need to control our seeds. We need to control our food we grow. We're going to have to as Esau turned it up on us. Read the scripture again, please.
Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 13. And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles.
No, that's just not talking about bread because the Israelites, we eat a lot more than bread. Bread is talking about your food. Sometimes it's referred to as your meat. Sometimes it's referred to as your bread. We are literally living this scripture. The fruits and vegetables last a lot longer. They're different shapes. If you notice, my wife bought a plum the other day. She's eating a plum. And I said, oh, yeah, baby, go ahead and eat it because it should be ripe. So she took a bite. I don't want this. So I said, what you complaining for? I took a bite of the doggone thing. It was soft. It was no taste to it. I'm like, this is not the way a plum is supposed to taste. I'm telling y'all, we are living in this day. So now, let's go back. So we pulled the scripture showing you that prophetically Ezekiel was written by the inspiration of God. It happened during the Persian captivity. It happened during the Greco-Roman Empire, Greeks, Roman. It happened everywhere, and we're now seeing it on this level. Now, if they're letting us read about this, what do you think they're doing behind the scenes that they're not going to let us read about? Y'all better get with the program. Come on.
Hey, Cap.
Yes, sir.
This man is really, really, really the devil.
Yes.
Soya is just another word for soy. So it's talking about soybeans, which soy is already bad for us. Then they put in the pig in it. And you look at that company name. The company name is Mulak. Doesn't that sound a lot like Molech? The devil, bro.
If you look at many of the ingredients that soybeans are using, so many things that goes in our food. And anyways, read on.
Meat substitutes could be about to get a lot more meat-like. A UK-based company called Bulek says it has created genetically modified soya plants that produce beans in which a quarter of the soluble proteins are pig proteins. It has named its plant Piggy Soy.
So can you understand that? And we're not going to read too much more down, that they're actually taking animal protein. Well, how do you get protein from a pig? Well, the same way that they've Deacon Malachi taught classes on in the book of Revelation. It talks about the beast, about the zoonosis, but there was a scripture that talks about the changing of beasts and things of that nature. And zoonosis, exactly. This is going on, and if they're sharing this, how much of it, again, are they doing to us without us knowing it? And this is why we have to become those farmers. We got to go back to the old ways. We need to eat less. We need to control our food output. We need a lot of small. We don't need to have these big 25-acre farms. If everybody has a half acre here, half acre there, we can sustain ourselves, at least with the produce that we're eating. We can control that. And then once the seeds come out of those plants, if you let them go to seed, you can continue to take those seeds and save them, dry them out, and then go. So you can control that. We can control that. Okay? Read on. We're almost done.
Mulek is also creating pea plants that contain beef proteins. It claims its products will be able to provide similar taste, texture, and nutritional value as meat, but without the high cost associated with cultured meat.
So these devils, what they're doing is, there's a need, because remember, Esau, when you go into the cost to raise meat animals, just the feed alone, the watering, the amount of grains and grass that it takes is enormous. So he says, like, this is why he's pushing the vegan thing, the plant-based thing, because the imprint and the what it takes away from the land is amazing. He says, what I'll do is I'll take proteins and try to create a hybrid source of plant-based, giving them the animal protein chains, which is so evil. They're trying to, remember in Daniel it says, he's trying to be like the Most High. They're trying to be God. And this is why the Lord is going to bring them down. This is why you're going to see the next half of the show. The U.S., the eagle is declining. We've been doing shows on BRICS. We've been doing shows on how America is going down slowly but surely. All right. Go ahead.
That's not natural as it is. I mean, protein, meat has a certain amount of protein. Plants have a certain amount of protein. They call plants partial proteins because they don't have as much as meat. So to make a plant that you say has as much protein, that's not natural as it is. That's not even supposed to be like that. And then you're going to add pig genes in it to make it better. Like, come on, man. Like, Esau been loving the damn pig since the beginning of time, seemed like. Greeks came into power, it was pig, pig, pig. You know what I'm saying?
Can I read the scriptures that's going right to your point? It's Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 27. It says, "Behold, therefore I have stretched out my hand over thee, and have diminished thine ordinary food, and delivered thee unto the will of them that hate thee."
Oh, wow. Read that again. Read it again.
Behold, therefore I have stretched out my hand over thee.
So you realize that the Lord is allowing this to happen. Just like he allowed us to put us in slavery, just like he allowed that brother to go and pick cotton at 17 years old. The Lord is allowing all of this. Why? So like in Hosea, we can turn back to him. This is supposed to make our people like, damn, where else do we go? Well, the only place you left to go is to go back to your God. Read on.
"And have diminished thine ordinary food."
Damn. Like beans is supposed to be ordinary. A strawberry is supposed to be, but that's a blueberry. Blueberry's been the same for millennia. Now the blueberries are different. They're genetically altering at the level of DNA, and they're changing our food. Read it again. That's beautiful.
"Behold, therefore I have stretched out my hand over thee."
Hey, go to verse 1 real quick.
Verse 1. "Again the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations."
That's talking about the Israelites. Cause the Israelites to know their abominations. So the whole chapter is Israel sinning, and as a result of that, the Most High is jacking us up. Throughout Ezekiel, when you read them, okay? Starting when he says, "Son of man, I made you to a watchman to the house of Israel. Therefore warn them." Okay, jump to the verse.
Verse 27. "Behold, therefore I have stretched out my hand over thee."
Because we broke God's laws, he stretched his hand out. What is his hand? He uses, Proverbs 17:13, he uses the wicked to carry out his punishment on us. Read on.
"And have diminished thine ordinary food."
Man, he diminished our ordinary food. God is allowing us. When you sit there and you say, the white man, the Lord's using the white man to do this to us. That's why we have to go in his word and follow that. Okay, this is sick. When we literally try to wrap our mind around what we're reading, it's sickening. Why should we have to worry about these things? Because the Lord is allowing it to happen. Go back to go ahead, Officer Mikhail.
I remember there was we read an article in the previous show about Florida navel oranges that they put shark DNA in so the oranges can grow in cold climates. These people are sick, man. Like, who thinks of that? Like, shark DNA in an orange so it can grow in cold climates? That's crazy.
They did the same thing with, they took the DNA from a fish around either Iceland or Greenland, and it could survive in those kind of waters, and they put that DNA in tomatoes so that they can grow them in the wintertime so they could withstand the cold.
Esau, man. I'm telling y'all we need to get it with the programs. Anyway, so look. So we're going to close out the first half of the show. We just wanted to show you how sick and evil and twisted that we see. Mass shootings, alternating DNA of food, genetically modifying foods. Slavery still existing in this country. The culture, the evil culture that this society pushes, and it's not through the black man, it's through the Caucasian American that is behind all this. And we're going to show you after we go to Bible verses, after we go to our break, come back with Kingdom music. We're going to show you the decline of the decadent eagle and its decline. So stick around. I know it's late, y'all. Get your energy drink, get your cold coffee, whatever, and stick around. Shalom.
Hey, shalom, Most High Christ bless Israel. It's your brother, Officer Mikael, and this is the Bible verses. And tonight we're going to talk about the Bible versus toxic femininity. Hey, in the first video we're going to play, y'all might have seen it. I know some of y'all still watch BET. So y'all might have actually seen this. Let's go ahead and play that video. Let's see what's going on. Hey, I want y'all to rewind that, and I want the audience to listen close to what she says. Listen real close. All right, pause that. Y'all can bring me back up. So, she says, you're a effing groupie. I'm done. Then she calls him a B as she throws her cell phone in his face. And she comes back again and slaps him in the back of the head and calls him a band. Why? She's upset because he took a picture with another female, right? But the toxic part in this is the fact that she can't even control her emotions. They're in the BET Awards in the audience. Little Uzi Vert just got finished performing and got smacked in the face with a cell phone. That is toxic. That's very toxic. But let's say he actually lost his composure and hit her back. Now we're talking about another Chris Brown situation, right? But if she doesn't put herself in that position, it wouldn't happen. All praise that he kept his composure. Let's go to the next video. Some more toxic femininity.
A man began arguing. That's when they say Hood's 14-year-old son came into the restaurant. We've blurred the boy's face because he's a juvenile who's no longer charged.
Hey, pause that. Pause that. Look, bring me back up. Cap just made that point about the video we saw earlier where these minors' faces weren't blurred out. So it shows you right there that they're not supposed to do that. They broke the law. So let's go back. I just wanted to bring that up real quick.
The boy's face because he's a juvenile who's no longer charged with any crime. As he's watching from the doorway, police and witnesses say the man arguing with his mother, identified as Jeremy Brown, repeatedly punches Carlisha Hood in the head. The violent attack was captured on this cell phone video, which was shared on social media by a local activist and has been viewed more than 32 million times. We froze the video before the impact of the punch. Police say as his mother...
All right, y'all can pause it now. So what we see here is the more signs of toxic femininity. That whole video. I know y'all looking at the brother and the brother punching the sister and, you know, maybe y'all thinking I'm victim blaming. No. The reason I say that whole video is toxic femininity is 9 times out of 10, that brother that punched that sister was raised by a single mother. And he took on her toxic feminine ways and being extra emotional and can't control his temper. Now you have an older gentleman that was there watching this whole thing and people standing by recording. Why don't they step in and break this up? We read in Isaiah 3 about the children being our oppressors. And, of course, you have the sister being in the man's face. He asked the sister, hey, look, just order your food. Don't say nothing else to me. Just order your food. And she had to keep talking, right? Now, all of this is scripture. All of this is scripture, right? So the Bible versus toxic femininity. How do we correct the toxic femininity? Give me Numbers 12 and 14. Numbers 12 and 14.
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 12. And verse 14. And the Lord said unto Moses, if her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days. And after that, let her be received in again.
So why does the Lord say, had not the father spat in her face, would she not be put out? Meaning, had not her father corrected her, she wouldn't be put outside of the camp. Why? Jump up to verse 1.
Verse 1. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married.
Now, in my Bible, it has Miriam's name in all caps and bold because he's speaking in particular about Miriam speaking out. And as we know, our sisters are loud and clamorous and being extra aggressive. And this is what Miriam did. This is why she got punished, because it was not her place. She put herself in a man's place. That's toxic femininity. How do we correct that? By correcting our sisters. Go to 1 Timothy 2:9. I want to show y'all something about 1 Timothy 2:9. A lot of times we go hear about the modest apparel, but watch what it says right after that. 1 Timothy 2:9.
It's the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse 9.
Uh-huh.
In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness.
With what?
With shamefacedness.
With what?
With shamefacedness.
To be shamefaced means to not be in a man's face. In both of these videos, what was the common denominator? These sisters were in a man's face, being extra aggressive. That's that toxic femininity. That toxic femininity is what has these little kids out here, 12 and 13 years old, posing in pictures with guns, are suspects in mass shootings, breaking in cars. It says children are our oppressors. Matter of fact, get that. Isaiah 3:12. This is what we got to understand, that this toxic femininity is the root to a lot of this. And yeah, it's y'all night tonight. Read that.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 3 and verse 12.
Uh-huh.
As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them.
And who?
And women rule over
Uh-huh.
them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err.
It says, and women rule over them, and they which lead thee cause thee the error. Read.
And destroy the way of thy paths.
And destroy the way of thy path. The way of your path should be walking in the commandments. We don't have any peace because the commandments aren't kept. The commandments aren't kept because they that lead thee cause us the error. Get Esdras, first Esdras 5 and 8. Mistress woman.
It's the book.
Second Esdras. Let's bring that out real quick.
Second Esdras, chapter 5 and verse 8.
Uh-huh.
There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be offset out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and minstrous women shall bring forth monsters.
It says, minstrous women shall bring forth monsters. Women, when they're minstrous, are usually in a state of not pleasant to be around, to keep it PG. To quote a line from a movie, they are unstable creatures. So these unstable creatures bring forth monsters. And that unstable creature, that's that toxic femininity. So look, this has been the Bible versus toxic femininity. Y'all stay tuned for Kingdom Music after these commercial breaks. All right, shalom, Most High Christ bless.
The streets to bring it out, they don't like that. No doubt, we ain't lying, we ain't fly, yeah. A roaring lion crouching down, they don't like that. The tribe of Judah, watch us do this, we gon' fight back. Yeah, your pastor know we lie, talking about he know the scriptures like a butcher, so I keep a knife. Pull it out and cut him with his wartime and spiritual. Praying for my son and them, praying for my aunties and my uncles and my cousins.
IUIC TV, where we are recreating the narrative for the black family. As the Bible says, where the vision, the people perish. The media have been vehicles that have conveyed destructive images of God's children, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Not only are we in the streets, but we are on the airwaves and networks, compelling our people to come back to their heritage. Tune in to IUIC TV.
So we came out for Juneteenth parade in a city called Monroe, Louisiana.
Work on my mind. You ain't gonna waste my time.
You know G's a black man, don't you?
Yes, sir.
They're in unison. They're doing everything together. That means y'all working with them, and that's a good thing.
And we came here to a lovely sister.
Yes, sir.
Let us speak today. We know we're the Israelites, and we in the right place. And anytime you bring the laws of God out, and you bring the history that we are the 12 tribes, you see spirits jump.
Right.
Not everybody gonna receive us, but guess what? There was some people today, some sisters that will listen.
Yes, sir.
And all the Lord needs is a few to repent. So that's what we're gonna do. And Lord's will, like last, we're gonna get a school here in Monroe, Louisiana.
That's right.
We're gonna set up prophets. We're gonna build the nation of Israel here in Monroe.
Do you think that what we were doing up there, do you think that we were out here because we hate our people or because we love our people and want to see a change?
Option two, because you love your people and you definitely want to see a change.
No, that's suicide. That's suicide. Work on my mind. You ain't gonna waste my time.
Negroes fighting for blocks. We don't fighting for souls. We got our boots on the ground. Big city, your small town. If you come up against us, then we shutting you down. If you ain't about your father's business, we don't need them around. To us, the leaders of verbs.
Yo, we go the distance, across the waters, teach our people, this is a mission. 12 tribes worldwide, this is redemption. Yeah, this is redemption.
Hey, Shalom, Israel, Most High Christ, bless awesome man here with Kingdom Music. We're going to jump right into it. We're going to our Northern Kingdom brothers. Northern Kingdom be coming with that fire. Loud and Decimal Order, that is one of my favorite albums in Israel right now. Hope y'all come up with a video for Salvation. All right, y'all come up with a video for Salvation. Guess what? I'm gonna bump that thing. So, like I said, this is Kingdom Music. We're going right into it. We're allowing Decimal Order, the 11th hour. Cue that music up.
Son hermanos, ¿por qué pelean? Why they fighting? They're brothers.
Hay tantas peleas entre manos.
All praise to the Most High God. Look, that is Laundécima Order. That's the album. Go get the album, all right? These songs coming out of Israel is so fire. That was positive black images of our sisters. See, brothers, see, tech team just out the spirit. I was about to say, this is a positive image from our sisters. Ain't no Ice Spices, ain't no Nicki Minaj's, ain't no Cardi B. That was not the BET Awards right there. All right? Ain't no City Girls, none of that stuff. We showing righteous examples of how our sisters should be. And them sisters had a good time filming that video. So go support, and remember, the images that we see are going to influence our nation as a whole. We changing the narrative. They gonna run to the nobles like they did the apostles in Acts. These men are turning the world upside down, but really we turning it right side up. All right. So that's been Kingdom Music. We're going back to the show. Shalom.
Yo, we go the distance across the waters, teach our people this is a mission. 12 tribes worldwide, this is redemption. Yeah, this is redemption. This is redemption. We go the distance across the waters, teach our people this is a mission.
Shalom, welcome back, Israel, to the second half of the show. We're going to get actually throw the thumbnail real quick, the thumbnail up. So second half, first half of the show, we basically went into what a sick world this is. We showed you modern day slavery, literal slavery, not figurative, literal slavery. We showed you mass shootings and the culture of mass shootings, how there's over 300 on par to be the worst year in American history. We also showed you the DNA modification of beans that a tech in the UK did, and other just sick things in this world. Now we're going to show you that the eagle is declining. Go to the article, please. Video, correct. Number 4. If you got 5 first, that's fine. 4, I'd rather start with 4. All right. So while they cue it up, this is the ex-foreign secretary opens up on the downfall of the U.S. Now his English is a little bit of a rough accent, but he doesn't hold anything back. And we're going to start at the first 2 minutes, and then we're going to jump to about 5:36. We're going to let this guy talk. He's a very, remember, he was a, what was he? A foreign secretary. So he's not, he's very versed on foreign policies of the U.S., and he's going to drop some truth. Play first 2 minutes.
Let us begin with the most important and powerful nation, which is the United States. So the U.S. has taken quite a journey in the past 30 years. It was the sole superpower after the breakup of the USSR. And now people talk about whether the U.S. is declining or not. So are these reports of the decline of the U.S. highly exaggerated, or is there some truth to it, sir?
Now you got to bear real quick. You got to bear with this because, again, you're not going to see this on mainstream American news, which mainstream American news is shown from a white privilege perspective, a sheltered privilege perspective. Now we're going to see, I believe this man is East Indian. He's very highly educated and he understands American policy. So this is why, even though the accent is tough to digest, but it is going to be a perspective that is going to be more in line with what's really going on. So let's listen to this guy.
Relativity, if you like. U.S. still remains the foremost global power, no doubt about it. Militarily, no country can compete with it, though mind you, the irony is that they lost most of the wars that they engaged in. They have God knows how many bases all around the world. They have military alliances spread over. They have the most powerful navy in the world, which gives them the capacity to intervene where they like and when they like. And then, of course, they have this agenda of shaping the world according to their values, so-called.
Real quick, I'm going to sidebar real quick. So, where did the United States learn this from? It is the term called neo-colonialism. They learned that from their forefathers, the ancient Romans, who the Roman Empire, the Holy Roman Empire, spread throughout much of the land over in Europe and Asia. Then the Spanish, Dutch, the British, they colonized the earth. So the United States of America is doing the same thing. It's neo or new colonization. That's what this doctor is talking about. And it's the democracy, and it's the, Christianity and democracy is the guise that they use to push their agenda. Play on.
And market principles and what suits them most in terms of linkages with the global economy. And they use the dollar as a very powerful weapon. And that again.
So, again, he's going to go in to drop some knowledge, y'all. He says they use the dollar as a very powerful weapon because guess what? If you can control oil exchange rates, transactions rather, if you could control the foreign export and import markets, then you can export and control the price that comes into your country when you import things in. That's why we can get a double cheeseburger for 99 cents. For $5 in this country, you can go into a Dollar General and get about 1,000-calorie meal. You cannot do that in other countries. That's why when America goes down, all of us who are used to this Babylon, you're going to be shocked. You're going to be shocked. And let this guy talk. I'm talking too much.
Power, which cannot be easily replaced. It is the status of dollar as the world's reserve currency. It's the biggest economy in the world. Therefore, all countries, when they want to hedge against the future, find it safe to invest either in the United States or in the US dollar. So that gives them strength. However, relative to what their position was, let's say after the collapse of the Soviet Union, certainly there is a decline in inverted commas of US power because China has come up in a very big way, in such a big way that it is now.
Real quick. He said most countries, when they want to hedge against the future, they invest in the US dollar. This is why BRICS is such a threat to the United States, because these countries are no longer investing in that dollar. They're moving toward BRICS and the BRICS currency. That's the threat. Y'all can play on.
Challenging US power. If you look at the kind of exchanges they have, they teach lessons, the Chinese teach lessons to the.
All right, so he just starts off and he touches China, but now he talks about the US and the power, how they weaponize the dollar, how they use their military and their control of the markets to push their policy. Now at 5 minutes and 30-something seconds, he's going to begin to talk about how it's starting to decline. And he says a lot. He said it's a little dry, and this guy's in foreign policy. He is spot on. Listen to what he's saying.
IMF, the Washington Consensus, the power of its
Go back
economy.
a little bit. We missed it. He's mentioning major players, the IMF, the World Bank. He's mentioning them because, remember, the whole video is talking about the U.S. And so you just have to infer, and you have to just know that when they say the World Bank, they're not talking about France as the U.S. is behind all of this. Understand that. When you think of IMF and you think of the World Bank, stop thinking of Canada. It's the U.S. that's running everything. And it's not your people, the brothers from Puerto Rican brothers from New York that's running. It's these white major elite families of this earth that are calling and controlling everything in the name of Christianity and democracy in the United States.
That's important. You see, the United States used the World Bank, the IMF, the Washington Consensus, the power of its economy, and everything else to spread its economic tentacles all over the world. And this whole business about pressing other countries to go for export-led economies. The reason was that they thought that they could buy all these exports from other countries at exchange rates which they can always manipulate because the dollar.
So a couple things he said, and I'm telling you, this guy, he's so nonchalant. He said, so the U.S. can spread its tentacles, because he's making an analogy of an octopus. That's what the U.S. does. They latch on to other people, and what do octopuses do? They suck. They strap on, they leech on, and they suck the tentacles of democracy in their economy. Now what he's saying is, can you run it just a little bit? He said something that
they could buy all these exports from other countries at exchange rates which they can always manipulate.
Pause. That's why, to your point, Officer Mikhail, that's why countries that do not, for example, if you are a country that buys from Russia and you depend on a lot of the things from Russia, and then you decide that Russia gets sanctioned, you depend on some of the natural resources that you need from Russia. So as a result of you just trying to survive in the business you had, they'll put sanctions on you. So what BRICS is an alternative system that they're going to have a currency. We've been going for show after show after show that's providing a viable alternative, and we're seeing it in our lifetime. In August, they're having a BRICS summit in South Africa, which they're not talking about in the mainstream media, which are trying to arrest Putin if he goes to South Africa. There are 19 countries, in addition to the 5, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, 19 countries who have unofficially, officially applied to get in. 2 of them being Iran and Saudi Arabia. 1 of them being Mexico. 1 of them being Brazil. So on and so forth. And what's going on is there's a global shift in power. And I'm telling you this, when you watch this, I had to watch this a couple times. This is boring, right? But just listen to what he's saying. He's got it spot on. We're going to let a white man tell you in a minute, too, just in case he ain't good enough for you. Play.
The dollar is the reserve currency. You've seen how the depreciation of rupee or another currency vis-a-vis the dollar. And this is to feed the consumption in the United States at the lowest prices possible. Now, China is giving them a run for their money with the BRI. So they are everywhere in the world.
So you see how he said it? He said China is giving them a run for the money with their BRI. Brazil, Russia, India, China. He forgot to say BRICS, because we were used to saying BRICS acronym, but before South Africa came in, it was the BRI. So now he's telling us, listen, the United States is still the superpower, and he's got to be careful how he says it. If you notice, he's real nonchalant, isn't it? But what he's saying is it's everything that Bishop has been teaching us out of the scriptures. The U.S. is the whore that sits on many waters. Matter of fact, give me Revelation 18. And he traded cinnamon in souls of men. Revelation 18. This is what he does. So he gets commerce cheap. That's why your gas prices, if you notice, they're still staying in the high 2s right now. How is that possible? Look what's happening in Europe, and they're suffering over there with a literal recession. We covered that before, too. Read.
The book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 11.
Come on.
And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her.
Wait, let's go back up a little bit. Let me see verse 1 and jump down.
Verse 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having a great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory.
Watch this.
Verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen.
That's the point. The whole chapter is talking about the United States, Babylon the Great, coming down. The show is telling you the decadent eagle is declining. We're showing you. Read on.
Is fallen and has become the habitations of devils.
The first part of the show, this place is sick, man. They've got slavery going on right now. They got transgendered agendas and curriculum being taught to kindergartners. Drag queens are dressing up with rainbow dildos and going into classrooms. And if you as a parent, you can't even challenge it. This place is sick, man. The inhabitants of devils, meaning deceivers. Read it again.
The habitation of devils.
A bunch of damn devils. Read on.
and the hold of every foul spirit.
You heard that? Every foul spirit's in here. That's why you got Africans saying, I don't go to America, because they might get shot in the mall. 300 mass shootings, 311 mass shootings, and we're halfway through the year. We are living in a sick place. Read.
And a cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
Hateful birds. This place breeds killers. It breeds incest. It breeds statistics that are just terrible. Okay, read on.
For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
So what does that mean? They become wealthy off the backs of America. The guy said, he said, look, they put their trust in they hedge on the dollar. But watch this. Now we're going to jump to the part. So the whole thing's talking about Babylon the Great being coming down. Now we're going to go to about its trade, right? It talks about this. Read on.
And the merchants of the earth, verse 11. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her.
Why?
For no man buyeth their merchandise anymore.
And we're living in a time, the beginning stages of that. Because guess what? If you have bricks come up as an option, and now, like, for example, Brazil traded in the yen. France, we did last week, did a major deal, and they traded in the Chinese yen. France, a European country, part of the EU. Read on.
The merchandise of gold and silver.
That's talking about, these are what they call precious metals. Read on.
And precious stones, and of pearls, and fine linen.
So it's not just gems and precious metals. It's also clothing. Read on.
And purple.
These are all things that are traded. This is export, import. Read on.
And silk, and scarlet, and all fine wood, and all manner vessels of
now
ivory.
Today these can be furniture. Okay, fine wood. What do you use? Woodwork. You make furniture. You make cabinetry. Read on.
And all manner vessels of most precious wood, and of brass, and of iron, and marble, and cinnamon, and odors.
Now it's talking about foods, spices, and herbs. All these things were traded then, back then. Now they're traded now as well. Read on.
And ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour.
Come on.
And wheat, and beasts.
There's the food market. Read on.
And sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves.
And what?
And slaves.
So how did the United States, how did Babylon the Great get its great military strength and wealth? Because they had our daddies and great-grandfathers and mothers, that worked for free. And God allowed it, and they built up a great capital called the Industrial Revolution, where they transitioned from crops into factories. We went and worked in their factories, and we made them billions and billions and trillions of dollars off the backs of our free labor. And that's where we're here today, living in this sick world. Go back where we was at to that video. We almost done, y'all. We almost done. Yep. Come on.
Their capacity to build infrastructure rapidly and high quality. And they are building infrastructure in Africa or Latin America or ASEAN and elsewhere, where United States has not. But the United States approach has been very, very different. Access to raw materials and stuff like that, but not actual developmental projects.
So he's talking about the approach that China's taken. That China's actually, with innovation and technology, is building these major structures, is taking advantage and doing projects in Africa and doing projects in Latin America and doing the things that the U.S. is not doing. Again, that's why these countries are looking to join BRICS by the dozens. It's going to be, last week it was going to be by 2030, 60% of the world's population, if it goes according to plan, and now only the Lord knows, will be in the BRICS. And the economy of BRICS will be more than the economy of the EU and the US put together. Trillions, dozens of trillions of dollars. So these are things that are going on literally in our lifetime. In the next month and a half, 2 months, you are going to see a BRICS, the acronym BRICS is going to change. And they are planning things behind the scenes. That's just what we can know. There's other things going on in China that we don't know about. Okay? And this is why the U.S. calls it the China problem. Okay? Play on.
For example, even with India, now, of course, today the situation is different. They didn't want to cooperate with the private sector, with the public sector.
Okay.
Only with the
We can pause here. Go to the next video, and then we're going to close out. I don't want to keep you too late tonight. Yes. Yeah, I want the, where is it? Number 5. So this guy, he is, I guess he's more conservative. We're going to start at about 125. There's a guy that comes on. He used to be in Marine Corps named Scott Ritter. And now, for those of you who say, well, that's an East Indian guy, some of us need to hear from the white man. Now, the white man is going to tell on the white man, so maybe, and sometimes I need to hear it too. And he is now, let the white man tell on himself, and then we'll believe him. That's how sick our minds are. We really are. Play.
Former U.S. Marine, who's just written a piece in Consortium News about this nuclear threat and where we are headed potentially to potentially nuclear war. Scott, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome back to the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
So I want to unpack all of these things. I first want to touch on your...
Pause. So the things he's going to unpack, he's going to give you the understanding about the narrative. There is 2 narratives for nuclear war. One narrative is based upon the U.S. philosophy, which is backed by the white man here in America, and the other is based upon the Russian philosophy or the Russian narrative. And he is not politically aligned. He is just basing it from he's in the Marine Corps, he studies war, he understands, and he's going to give you, it's so logical where he breaks it down. Play on.
Which we heard from President Biden over the past 48 hours on a fundraising trip, by the way, that he's been warning us, of course, about Vladimir Putin. So he thinks that there's a real possibility that Putin's going to use nuclear weapons. And meanwhile, the other side, on the Russian side, seems to be saying the exact opposite. So you've written this new piece on that specific question on nuclear war. Can you unpack that? Explain to us what your piece is about and where we're headed in this mess right now.
Well, I think we need to understand, first of all, that we live in a world where there's 2 competing nuclear doctrines. One is the American nuclear doctrine, which Biden has inherited from Trump, who inherited it from Obama, who inherited it from Bush. And this is a doctrine that embraces the notion of preemptive nuclear war, a winnable nuclear war, a world where the United States can envision using nuclear weapons preemptively in an effort to escalate, to de-escalate. That is, showing the other side that we're serious about this and that causing them to back down. We have to keep in mind that the doctrine that exists under Biden is the doctrine that was in place when a senior Trump administration defense official said, our goal in having this doctrine, and this is a direct quote, our goal is to ensure that every morning when the Russians and Chinese wake up, they don't know whether or not we're going to nuke them. That's the American nuclear strategy. I want people to understand. Let that sink in. And that's the Biden strategy. This is the strategy that Tony Blinken has behind him as he goes.
Tony Blinken is the pull up Tony Blinken. He's either Foreign Affairs or Secretary of State. He's the one that goes and meet with the Chinese president. He's the one that meets with the to set policy internationally. And he may sound smooth. Okay, he's coming with this agenda, and this is the U.S. They are bullies. They are bullies. They go into the Persian Gulf with a doggone destroyer fleet and park right outside the doorstep in the Persian Gulf. They have bases in South Korea, which is attached to the mainland, effectively mainland China. They are saying that it's international waters when they're going to Taiwan, when Taiwan is right off for friggin' mainland China. This is how we know this is why you better believe what he's saying. He's telling you the pressure they put on is behind closed doors, Putin and China, they really believe that we're going to nuke them. That's the preeminent. That's why every time you go in the military, if you're ever in the Army, Marine Corps, they tell you, don't go out by yourself, okay? And they tell you, once you get in country, you shouldn't have a high and tight, okay? Because then they can pick your ass out. Tuck your dog tags, Keep a low profile because you're known as the great Satan wherever you go. Okay? So I'm telling you right now, you are a bunch of we're sheltered as hell. Let's read about that.
Anthony John Bleekin, born April 16th, 1962, and an American government official and diplomat serving since January 26th of 2021. As the 71st United States Secretary of State.
Okay, so he's the Secretary of State, and he also has a background in National Security Advisor. So he is the guy, the face of America, that's going to speak to the Chinese president. And Scott Ritter is saying, look, we've inherited the policy of all these previous administrations on being basically preemptive with the nuclear strategy. So watch what he says about he's going to continue to go. It's a little bit wordy, but you need to hear it.
He was that dude that advocated for the Iraqi war.
Blake, I believe so.
I think okay, I know. Okay,
he's got a history. So let's play on. We almost done, y'all.
And does his aggressive policies, the strategy that Jake Sullivan is backed up with when he makes his aggressive policies, and it's the strategy that should be bouncing around inside the muddled brain of Joe Biden when he says ridiculous things such as, I've been warning everybody about Putin. I've been warning them that, the threat of nuclear war is real. No, the only threat of nuclear war comes from the United States, and people should understand that.
Pause. I want you to listen. This is what I like. Sometimes you need to hear. This is a former Marine who's written books and studies this. Geopolitical, historical, anthropological. He studies the history of the regions. He studies the culture of the people. He was in the Marine Corps. He knows what he's talking about. And this is never going to be played on the nightly news. That's why when you see, they'll tell you, Russia's going to bomb. They keep saying the same mass statements. Oh, democracy, they're killing democracy. And then you hear they say the same thing over and over again in the same dogmatic jargon that they keep repeating over and over. It's to numb you. This is what you need to be listening to. He's telling there is no nuclear threat. It's the U.S. is all the nuclear threat. And why what does he have to lose? Why? He's a white man in America. It's because some of these white people, even though they're still the devil, they don't want to be seen as international crooks. Well, by default they are. But the point is, a lot of these, they're woken up and they understand what the U.S. is doing is evil as hell. Don't matter that they still benefit from all the usage of the privilege that comes being white in America. But play on. Almost done.
Of nuclear war comes from the United States. What Russia has said is that they have no intention of using nuclear weapons, tactical or otherwise, unless their nuclear doctrine is triggered. And that one is, of course, if the existential survival of Russia is put at risk, then Russia will use all means available to ensure the continued survival of Russia.
And pause. So, let me frame this for us to understand. So everybody on listen to show understands. That's like saying the U.S. position would be, look, we're not going to use, unless you try to take Florida, then we're going to bomb you. Doesn't that make sense? If you try to take Connecticut, try to take New York, or take Maine from the U.S., or let's say take Hawaii, at that point, if you tried, and that's what Ukraine is trying to say, that is some of their land over in Russia, they're going to try, the war's not going to stop, he's going to go on to say, until Ukraine gets their land. That's never going to happen. Russia legally has that land, and what Russia's going to do is, if you try to take that, they are going to defend what is legally theirs. Same thing. You try to take Florida. Now you can put it into perspective. This is what's going on. He's an expert. They should be listening to a guy like this. They're not. The dogmatic crap that they're pushing. Oh, Putin is dangerous. Putin is this. You got to really, China. Y'all better pay attention, man.
It's the same thing they did in the Iraq war.
Yep.
Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden. Everybody else was the aggressor And the U.S. was just so innocent.
Weapons of mass destruction. You kept hearing that over and over again. It's that crap that the buzzword, and it gets the general public saying the same crap like a zombie play. If you ain't got it, we can move on. We got the major point. If you can get it back, okay, all right.
That's sort of sense. I mean, that's why you would have nuclear weapons to begin with, to ensure your continued survival. So, we're in a situation now where we have the United States. Jake Sullivan just gave a presentation at the Arms Control Association earlier this month, talking about the conditions under which America would pursue arms control with the Russians, totally unrealistic expectations. And Putin gave an interesting response because, as Putin is wont to do every now and then, he throws in sort of man on the street, salt of the earth colloquialisms. And he did it this time. He said, now they want to talk about disarmament. They want to come in and look at our strategic nuclear deterrence system at a time when the goal of the United States is to achieve the strategic defeat of Russia.
Right.
And then he used the term chrenim, loosely translates into pound sand. Now there's a more crude version of that, but and the crowd loved it. But that's the Russian approach right now. The heck with you.
Right. We're going to come in. We're going to restart. We're going to come in and investigate your nuclear stockpiles as we continue to funnel billions of dollars in weapons into Ukraine to attack.
See, that's the point. And that's the point. We've been covering it. So the only reason why the Ukraine lasted more than a month is because they had the 82nd Airborne drop tanks off. They have the Polish army. They have all the NATO forces that are not actually technically supposedly in Ukraine, but all the resources, the drones, the tanks, the Abrams tanks, the carriers, the missiles. What's that missile defense system? It was called, I forget what it's. They have all the missile defense systems that are actually in the Ukraine that they're using to fight on that front. That's happening right now. That's what he's talking about. So just, we don't need to remember everything, but we need to understand what's really going on right now. And I'm going to tell you something. There is going to be a nuclear war. Because otherwise, how did Ezekiel see what he saw? How did Isaiah see what he saw? How did John see what he saw? Okay? Matter of fact, real quick, we're going to get Isaiah 34 and then get me Revelation 6. Forget about what everybody else tells you. And I don't know what year it's going to be. There's going to be a thermonuclear war, and it may be in our lifetime. You in this room, in your lifetime. You want to know why? Because if it doesn't happen, that means God's a liar. And God, all the prophecies came true about slavery. All the prophecies came true. We would lose our heritage. We know this. I don't need this guy to tell me, but it does validate God's point, right? Isaiah 34, please, first.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 34 and verse 4.
And we're going to close out, go right to the Lord back attack after this.
And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved.
Come on.
And the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll.
So during the time of Isaiah, the host of heaven that he could see was stars. But he's describing an event where it's past his time historically. He's trying to say what he can in a similitude, and he's writing about it so that we can understand it today. And those of us in the spirit, we can understand it. Read on.
And all their hosts shall fall down.
Because now what would fall down during the time of Isaiah? It's not talking about his time. Read on.
As the leaf falleth off from the vine.
He has to use an example of a leaf coming down. It just comes down. He's showing you, because a leaf don't drop like a marble or a damn rock. He's showing you how they're going to come down. Read on.
And as a falling fig from the fig tree.
And that's also proves that we were farmers. Okay, we fig trees, we cultivated crops. Read on.
For my sword shall be bathed in heaven.
That's talking about the Most High. Read on.
Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea.
Idumea is a so-called white man. Okay, read on.
And upon the people of my curse.
And it's going to come down in the Israelites as well. The ones of Amos chapter 9. If we follow this doctrine, we got to come out of her. Read on.
To judgment.
That's it on that? Yes, get me Revelation 6. This is a war. I think it's the end. I got to look at it. Revelation 6. John describes destruction. Start at 1 and then jump, please.
Revelations chapter 6 and verse 1.
Thanks for staying with us, y'all. Late show.
And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder. One of the four beasts saying, "Come and see."
Jump, read on.
Verse 13.
Watch this. Let me look at it. Go to verse. No. 13 is good.
Verse 13. And the stars of heaven.
Check this out. Hold up. John lived at a complete different time than Isaiah. The show is called Precept Upon Precept, because how does a black man who lived during the time of Isaiah and a black man who was in prison after Christ died, how are they writing the same thing? It's because they were inspired by God to warn you and show us what's going to happen. Read it again.
And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth.
Wait, so a star actually, if we literally break it down, a star is a ball of gas like a sun. So if a star, like imagine the sun fell down, it's not talking about that. It's talking about something else. He's describing what he could see. Read on.
Even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs.
Isaiah said the same thing or a similar thing. Read on.
When she is shaken of a mighty wind.
Watch this.
And the heaven departed as a scroll.
The heaven departed as a scroll. Isaiah is looking at a mushroom cloud. I have to use that term loosely so we can get it. It's coming together like this. The scroll goes, and that effect made things fall. He's looking at it. He's trying to describe it to you. Read on.
When it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved.
Wait, what the hell could make a mountain move? This is a incredible force that he's trying to describe in his best way he can. Read on.
And every mountain and island were moved out of their places.
Yes. Yes, that's it. So look, we're showing you that and we had some more later on. Check out, I want to inspire y'all. Go check out there's stuff like the Hindu Times, First Post. There's many different East Indian outlets. There is Al Jazeera. There's many different, and I go there because if the U.S. had an outlet, I would go there too. We don't. You meaning the U.S., not we, U.S. United States of America media outlets. You have to go to international news. You have to search it out. Like when we do these shows, I have to research for days to try to find it, and then I have to go to YouTube. I look for articles, and then finally you get it. Okay, now I can rely on this source. Do that. Okay, watch. Scriptures say we have to watch and pray. All right. So with that, we're gonna go to the last section. Thank you for sticking with us. I know it's late. Stay with us. Shalom. And I want to give a shout out. I was with a brother in Monroe 2 weeks ago, and I profusely clowned him to the point of great ridicule. He needed it because he's 275 pounds of fat, blubber, and lard, and he's the size of Papa Smurf, literally, like 5'3" and a half. So the brother I got on him, he said, well, you making fun of me. He said, you got a I said, you damn right I got a solution. So that brother is down 13 pounds in 3 weeks. He's doing 1 meal a day, healthy keto, and he's taking electrolyte powder. And I said, brother, that ain't nothing. You should be able to lose 4 pounds a week. He's about 4.5 pounds a week down. I said, once you get about 50, 60 pounds, then we'll talk. Every one of you can lose the weight. Every single one of you. The reality is this, and I'm not talking about anybody in any camp particularly. I'm talking about everybody. Those of you who have been hearing this for years and you don't do nothing about it, number one, you're weak as hell. You're weak. You got a brother who went to jail, okay, became a slave. You got people who can't even find enough food for the day, and you're a simple first-rate Babylonian diet-having friggin' fat lard ass can't get out of your own way. You're weak. I hope I get under some of your skin. Read.
The book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 25.
We're going to hit you with some scriptures. Read.
A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet.
Give example. Today, you know what I had to eat all day? I had a cup of black coffee, a Texas spring water, and a Perrier mineral water until 6 o'clock. Oh, but that's not true. That's not true. I also had some salt. I had some Himalayan pink salt. And that's a typical day. I'll go the entire day, then I'll eat in a 4-hour window. That's what I do every day. And if I can do it, y'all can do it. And you lard backs, you need to do that. You don't need carbs. Okay, they didn't have processed, stupid, refined carbs 100 years ago. That's why there was barely no fat black people. It make me sick. And the thing is like, here it is like, okay, the cure for polio is a polio shot. I'm just using an example. And obesity and diabetes 2 and insulin resistance, half of you in the congregation have it. And the solution is you can fix it all, but you don't, because you don't give a damn. I'm telling you. You don't care. A lot of you brothers, you don't care. You don't care about your freaking daughters. You don't care about your wives. You don't care about your damn selves. That's why the last month, 4 brothers had heart attacks. Heart disease is the number 1 killer of black men. You weak brothers, you make me sick. That's okay. I'm trying to warn everybody. You don't want to be in the ICU. You don't want to have a stent. Brother just got a stent put in his heart the other day. You know what a stent is? It's a metal opening. It's like it's like a little that it goes in and it stays in there forever. It allows, because you got a blockage and it allows blood to flow through. Why would you want that? Why do you want that? Read.
Sirach chapter 30.
So when you weak brothers and you weak soft ass sisters write in the comments, you're never going to win. Well, you know what? No. Because you need someone to hold you accountable. Shout out to Fat Mark. Fat Mark has lost over 260 pounds now, 580 pounds, and he said, I'm going to die. He's doing something. A lot of you are 80 pounds, 100 pounds overweight, and you've been talked to for years, and you just give the proverbial middle finger. And then when you're in the hospital and you're crying, you're going to remember the word. You're crying. I should have listened. I should have listened. I should have listened. Yeah, you should have listened. Read.
A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet.
Read on. I want 31. I'm going to read a couple of scriptures. We're going to do a couple of videos. This is the serious side. This is the serious side.
The book of Sirach, chapter 31, verse 16.
And as you cry and the tears come down your freaking face and you wonder why, and you're going to have this thought in your mind, what if I did it the other way? Well, I'm trying to tell you, week after week, there's going to come a time when you're not going to be able to. You're going to be crying your ass to sleep at night. Read.
Eat as it becometh a man.
Come on.
Those things which are set before thee.
Read on.
And devour not.
I'm talking about a problem. I got solutions coming. Read.
Lest thou be hated. Leave off first for manners' sake.
You got to learn. You're not going to die, man. You can eat 1 time a day. You're not going to die. You're too weak. Read.
And be not unsatiable, lest thou offend.
Babylon has taught you that you cannot be satiated because the foods that they design are designed to trick you. Why don't they heavily advertise produce? But yet all the packaged foods, they've got the big giant advertisements all over it. It's a design. Why do they make the furthest walks in the grocery store is in the perimeter of the grocery store and everything is advertised in the center aisle? That's how they design these stores. Everything's set up to trap you. And you can control your health. You can't control the fact that the white man run the industry. You can't control the fact that you might get BS at your job. You can't control them things. But you can control your health. You can't control your wife's health. You can't control your children's health. You can't control your health. But you choose not to. That's all right. I'm not going to feel guilty. I ain't feeling no kind of guilt. The Lord put me through a very, very low estate to try to warn you lard asses. Read.
When thou sittest among many, reach not thine hand out first of all. A very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured.
But you say, F you, God. I don't eat pig, God. I don't eat catfish. I'll do whatever I want. And that's why the obesity rates amongst us are far too high. Now, let's get some statistics to back it up. Why does that light-skinned, loud mouth run his mouth? Because I'm trying to help y'all, and you don't listen. Get me the Harvard study, not the Peter Shatner studies. I'm getting that next. Get the Harvard. Let me say in a sec. You got me, Gabe? All right, we're gonna do a little reading. Okay, we start a little bit late. We're gonna be done in about 5-10 minutes. This is a Harvard study about a world obesity problem. So it is not just the United States problem. Okay?
Obesity prevention source. Obesity has truly become a worldwide problem affecting countries rich and poor. So, just how many men?
Let's just skip to the next paragraph. I'm going to get the key points.
One of the most recent and careful global estimates finds that roughly 500 million adults are obese.
500, 500 million are obese. Obese, that does not even include the overweight. A lot of you are 30 pounds overweight. You think that's normal? That ain't normal. You're not supposed to be overweight. That's a bunch of BS. Obesity is far more than overweight. Read on.
Defined as a body mass index or BMI of 30 or higher. That's almost 10% of men and 14% of women.
And it's a whole lot more statistically or in a ratio than it is for the U.S. This is worldwide data. Read on. Read where it says data are scarcer on obesity.
Data are scarcer on obesity in children, but one global estimate finds that in 2010, 43 million preschool children were overweight or obese.
And most of them are not in Malaysia, China, India, Sri Lanka, and the African countries. Most of them are in America and these other first-rate countries. Okay? Scroll down. So I'm supposed to talk to you soft? Make you feel better about being fat? No, it's a problem that you could fix. Read. Let's drop that article. We're going to drop that article. I'm really trying to get through. And when you see me, I'm the same way in person. I ain't dealing with none of you women. Not one of you. Don't ask me to catfish him. I ain't coaching a damn thing. We got too many fat, lard-ass men are too damn weak. When the men overcome, listen, every single brother, except for big fat elephant world guts like Fat Mark, who may need another year and a half. Brothers that are 100 pounds, say between 50 to 100, 120 pounds overweight. Every single one of you soft, weak-ass brothers could lose the weight in 1 year. Imagine what we'd do if all the men, I'm just talking about IUIC right now, lose all the weight. What it would do for our nation. Then you now you take the flashlight, you put it on the sisters. Now what, sis? I was a hypocrite. I'm trying to tell you to be. Now I lost all the weight. What's your damn excuse? Oh, your thyroid? Yeah, right, nigga, your thyroid. You serious? Excuse my language. I don't mean to say that word. Listen, you better stop, get off your stupid little victim. A lot of you fat people are your victims of your own mind. You have it in your mind you can't do something. Well, I guarantee I lock your ass in a room and give you 1 meal a week and a bucket of water a day and salt. Guarantee you won't die. Guaranteed. Yes, I'm over the edge. It's going to get fun soon real quick. Get me Sirach 38, verse 4.
The book of Sirach, chapter 38, verse 4. The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth.
That's right.
And he that is wise will not abhor them.
So don't hate the medicine God gives you. He gives you the blueprint. Very little is sufficient. A sound sleep, cometh moderate eating. The medicines are from the ground. So by default, in logic, if you put away the sugar, put away the processed food, and say, I'm going to eat things from the ground, like a sweet potato, like berries, like asparagus, like Brussels sprouts, like cauliflower, like spinach. If you eat that, that's going to heal your lard asses. Okay? And I hope you fat lard asses log off. Okay? Now, get me the videos. I'm going to lighten up a little bit. A lot of you offended. That's okay. Do something about it. Do something about it. I want the fat. Hey, there's a lard back. He's dancing in the snow. Now, I'm going to be a little fun now. A lardback has a tactical and advantage in the cold. Now, this is one of our favorite guys. And look, and if you don't want to listen and you want to be a disgusting, fat, horrible lard ass, then you have made, look, you're going to be the butt of jokes and we're going to make fun of you because it looks terrible, but it's funny. So this is a lard bear looking like a polar bear with painted light brown top and bottom. He's standing in a snow pile, and let's see if he's cold and shivering or if he is in a wonderful state. Play the cue in the lard back. Now pause. Notice the lard back is not shivering at all. Why? Because the layers of morbid obesity that he's gained through calorically surplusing his calories are for this day here. He's not shivering. He's very comfortable. The blubber, lard, and fat has created an incendiary value that makes him withstand the cold. Play it again. Ah, the lard back. Excellent. Now, it's going to take strong men to change our health in this nation. And I challenge every single one of you brothers that's overweight, 25, 30 pounds, you're obese or you're more, I challenge all of you. In the next year, if you get permission from your doctor, I'm going to say it right here because I went there to learn from my bishops, is I'm not a friggin' doctor. I ain't claiming to be one. But I'm going to show you what a white doctor says a little later on. Get permission from your white doctors, whoever your doctors are, to eat things, to follow the scriptures. So when you got a problem, you can blame him. Okay? Play. Maybe I didn't tell you the right video. I'm sorry. It's the next. There's a white woman, a very big, fat, morbidly obese white woman who is complaining. Apparently, she went to the Texas town where they got the scooters. So she is now saying that wheelchairs should not just be for handicapped people. And she's going to tell you all about it. Did I send you that one, Gabe? The fat, ugly-looking Edomite. Yes, she's disgusting. Okay? Yes! So, now, maybe he got a hairstyle like a Puerto Rican sister. But anyways, so this lard bear, okay, who is morbidly obese, she probably, if I had to anticipate, like if you guess how many marbles in a jar, let's guess how much lard is on it. She's probably no more than about 301, something like that, right? She's morbidly obese. And I'm supposed to apologize because I'm looking at the big fat lard ad. No, the bottom line is none of you got to look like this. And I got solutions. Play.
Say that wheelchairs are only for people who need them.
Without me, my wheelchair is useless. Without my wheelchair, I am useless.
Because when they say that, what they mean is wheelchair users are for people who are paralyzed. But not everyone who is a wheelchair user is paralyzed. I think we should do away with strollers because toddlers can stand.
So her rationale is that she actually, I believe she is an undercover member of the NAAFP, which again, Gabe, what's that organization you're part of again? Yes, it's a joke. National Association for the Advancement of Fat People. They have an agenda. It is to get scooters in every mall, not to have to walk in the mall. They want wheelchairs even though they're not disabled. They want to be able to peruse and save their energy for eating. Okay? Play.
You know why we use strollers? Because we do need them. We need them. And you know what? Some adults need strollers too. And that stroller is a wheelchair.
So the lard back. Now, wait! Again, proving Peter Shatner, you are a genius. Notice the lard back is the air is going through her because now she has more energy for the cold drink, which is packed with 63 grams of sugar. Now she can roll down. That's a motorized stroller. Because let me tell you something. I think that might be the X3 3500. Remember that big lard back had the quad runner last week? He said, if she ain't 380, she ain't a lady. Well, that lard back has got the reinforced, that might be the XG 6000 because she is no less than about 490. And she is rolling down, okay? Enjoying a soda, probably not even diet. Play on.
To making disabled people and fat people suffer all the time.
Pause. What I am the one that suffers, because when I have to look at you, it literally makes me feel bad about myself that you have to be standing near someone ripped like me. It's horrible. It's horrible. I identify as a ripped man, and I should not be subject to this. Now, I'm being very mean. Yes, I have a solution to the problem of obesity. Is there another video, Gabe? Great. Please play them. And I've not called Gabe or Asa resident lardbacks the entire show. I will refrain from that as much as I can. Now, pause. The plight, the struggle of the lardback. You're going to witness something that, again, is something that me, if I was on this plane, I would be psychologically disturbed for the rest of the flight. Watch the self-victimization of the lardback. Play.
You can't build wider aisles in airplanes 2023. This is what this model said when she struggled to walk on the airplane aisle because they were too narrow. People online are telling her, oh, it's your body, your responsibility. Oh, probably just lose some weight. And oh, you're so entitled. I get it. We all want to be comfortable. But unfortunately, the world cannot just adjust for each and every single one of us. We were all meant to struggle, and it's our responsibility.
So, again, they want us to bend to the lardback. No, the lardback has got to bend and lose the weight for society. It's not socially acceptable. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. We got to be better than that. So now, get me Dr. Berg. So now, I have been rough around the edges, somewhat mean, somewhat you might describe as overly rigid in my approach. Now here's the solution, okay? Talk to your doctor. If you can do this, I think it's 23 benefits of 1 meal a day. There's an acronym called OMAD, 1 meal a day, 1 meal a day, 1 meal a day. This is a doctor, and sometimes you need to hear from a straight-haired white man, because it sounds better from him. So this, by the way, this guy, he's legitimate. His name is Dr. Berg. He's a chiropractor that went into nutrition, and he really he has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients. He's free on YouTube. Listen, I got no affiliation. I'm just saying that the man is on point. And he has hundreds of people he's helped to escape obesity just by applying the things that the Bible talks about. So he's going to give you 23 benefits of eating 1 meal a day. Now, in that 1 meal, it needs to be high amounts of vegetable matter. So I'm going to give you a couple examples, and we're going to let the video play, and we're going to close out. Here's an example of a healthy keto meal. You would have a bunch of Brussels sprouts, perhaps spinach, low-carb vegetables that are packed with vitamins and minerals and nutrients. And then you may have, let's say, for example, a piece of salmon or the lawful fish. And for dessert, you might have a bunch of maybe low-sugar fruits like berries. If you have that 1 meal, you're not going to die, you lard ass, because you got a bunch of calories stored on your big fat side strap, you lard backs. And that literally, when you get into ketosis, your body then compensates and takes the fat, which fat is just calories that are stored. You didn't know that? And it uploads it into ketones, and you begin to burn your own fat. You cannot do that if you're eating carbs. Now, let's let the white man tell us.
3 benefits of OMAD, 1 meal a day diet, which is not really a diet, it's a kind of a type of intermittent fasting, where you're going 23 hours of fasting and 1 hour of eating. And yes, people love food, but you could actually set it up so, let's say you have a social event or you go out to dinner and that's when your meal is, so you're around friends, so you're not sitting there at a restaurant just like not eating. That would be not good. But let's talk about the benefits. Number 1, you're going to save a lot of money. When you're only eating 1 meal a day, You'll probably save at least $600 a month just on that alone. It's going to save a lot of time, so you can do other things that are productive. Most people spend a lot of time eating, preparing for food. It takes a lot of work. Number 3, improving digestion.
Pause real quick. So we're not going. The video is 5 minutes. We may watch most of it. Here's the thing. So I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking from experience, and I've known many brothers who do this. 1 meal a day when you're eating healthy keto, or some people call it OMAD keto, you are going to save money, you're going to save time, and it improves your digestion. If you have anything called, they call it IBB, irritable bowel syndrome, other people, they have called Crohn's disease, all of these things, and you got to prove for yourself, they go away. They go away. Okay? And here, prove my ass wrong. Prove me wrong. Play on.
Going to give your gallbladder a chance to rest, the stomach, the pancreas, the large bowel, especially if you have irritable bowel syndrome. It'll actually help you heal that. It improves the immune system. Also, it puts your body into something.
You want to know why you and your kids keep getting friggin' sick? Because you're eating 4, 5, 6 times a day, even if it's healthy food. It will improve your immunity. That coupled with Deacon Asaph, he has the roots and the herbs, and there's that mix that we make, the Benji stuff. That coupled with intermittent fasting, which is 1 meal a day we're talking about, you're going to get sick very, very infrequently. And when you do, you're going to recover. So now I talk a lot of ish, but this is a solution that works, but you got to try it. But a lot of you brothers, I'm telling you, man, you make me sick because you're too damn weak. You don't even care about yourself, man. Play.
Autophagy, which is the recycling of junk proteins and damaged protein particles, and recycles it into new tissue. But it also recycles viruses, fungus, mold.
Oh, wait a minute. So wait a minute. When you eat 1 meal a day, you have other matter in your body that are proteins that get recycled, like viruses. So then your body begins to attack and reuse viruses and bacteria in your body. So God wrote about this in the Bible. And you got brothers who are telling you, and every time he sees you, he talks to you, and you reject it, and you wonder why you have a heart attack. Play on.
Yeah, which also is going to help your immune system right there. So it's kind of an immune strengthening activity. You're going to live longer, which is a good thing. You're going to be a lot less hungry. You would think by not eating, you're going to be starving all the time, but not when you fully adapt to fat burning. Your hunger is going to go away. No more cravings. It's going to make it really easy to do this, but of course it takes a while to get into this keto
And like
state.
I said before, those cupcakes and all that crap is the things that they heavily can preserve and keep on the shelf a long time, and sell at a markup price and use all type of chemical ingredients, and they can now sell and make a bigger profit. It is a doggone trap. And you can't do nothing about maybe who your boss is and what he does. You can't do anything about certain things, but you can control your health. And this is a literal solution. And I have brothers who have, one brother, 25 weeks of doing this. He got permission from his doctor. He lost 111 pounds. The whole man's life has changed. He's one success story because he just applied the scriptures and had a brother hold them accountable. Okay? You say you love your husband. You say you love your wife and your children, and you let them walk around like this. Shame on you. Read. Play.
This keto state, but when you're fully there, you're not going to crave anymore. Better skin. Because of the autophagy and the anti-aging effects, your skin is going to be a lot smoother and younger. Increased energy, tons of physical energy. Number 11, increased mood.
Pause. So remember, the scriptures say, a cheerful man will have a care of his meat and diet. I'm challenging y'all. I'm telling you, I've done this for years. If you are depressed, listen to me. If you suffer from depression, anxiety, you have problems with you're always cranky. If you do this and eat like this, you will be in a better mood. Why? Because it's fulfilling the scriptures. A merry heart does good like a medicine. Well, if you have a joyful spirit about you, I'm a fat lardass. I'm obese. I'm going to fix it. Your body will begin to heal and you will feel better. You won't be depressed anymore. Prove me wrong. It works. Play on.
Anxiety, you have to realize that comes from a blood sugar problem. And when that's handled, your mood's going to come way up. You're going to feel much better. Number 12, increase cognitive function. This is great for dementia, improving your memory.
Pause. Do you know what Alzheimer's is? I'm telling. This is why I get really friggin' pissed, because God gives us everything we need to heal. You got brothers and sisters in the body right now who are friggin' dementia, Alzheimer's. You can heal yourself of that. I'm not a doctor. But just think about it. You keep taking this crap foods and you eating it 6 times a day, 5 times a day. No wonder your body doesn't get a break. This heals you. It heals you. God's word heals if you apply. I'm just speaking about health. If you a doggone a pervert who's an adulterer, this ain't going to help you. You got to fix that too. I'm just talking about health because it's the Lord back attack. We're almost done. I can see people getting play on.
This concentration, all that will improve.
Now pause. In interest of time, I'm gonna read these, and then I challenge every single. I don't even give a damn if you're skinny or not. All of you should look to try this. Talk to your doctor first. Now, if you're a brother who does not need to lose weight, you might need to eat 2 meals, like Deacon Asaph said, 2 good-sized meals so you don't lose muscle mass. If you are overweight, obese, you don't need to. All you need to do is this. And some brothers do a couple of days water fast in between. Limit number 13, decrease inflammation. That means, guess what inflammation of your joints is? It's called bursitis or arthritis. You can overcome that. Decreased blood pressure, hypertension. What's the number one cause of strokes and heart attacks? Hypertension. The number one thing you can do to lower your blood pressure and eventually get off these blood pressure medication is to do what? Eat less frequently. Eat healthy foods within that window and let your body and God's word do the rest, and you will heal. You lower your blood pressure. You can reduce arterial plaquing. Go look at a video of a cardiologist if you don't believe me. Okay? Number 5, heart disease. This is the whole thing I'm trying to get to this point. And also dementia, diabetes, and fatty liver, all of this, right? Heart disease. I'm not a doctor, but I've studied doctors for many years. And I've seen a lot of death. I've been in ICU. I've been in hospital for a long, long time. Didn't want to be there. Got there. Now I understand. I'm trying to help people. The number one killer, the number one cause of strokes and heart attack, yes, stress has something to do with it. I understand that. Is heart disease. What is that? It's the building up of arterial plaquing, which increases your blood pressure, which increases your blood pressure throughout your whole system. Think of a pipe. If it's able to flow nice and if you constrict that pipe, what happens to the blood? It has to move with more pressure. And the same vessels and arteries that go throughout your map of your system, it has to go through your heart and into your brain. A stroke is a burst or a blockage in your brain. A heart attack is a blockage in your heart. That's what a stent is. It opens you up. And you know when you figure that out? Is when you're in the friggin' hospital. And you should, no one ever told me. I'm trying to tell your ass now. You all can fix it. That's why I'm not, I ain't come and see none of you in the hospital. Tell you right now. I ain't doing that ever again. Never again. Blake, we're going to finish out.
Inflammatory conditions, whether you have bursitis, tendinitis, arthritis, that's going to go away because the blood sugar issues will cause inflammatory. Number 13, decrease inflammatory conditions, whether you have...
So look, what I want y'all to do, okay? Took you on a roller coaster tonight. What I want you to do is, I want you to go into the mirror and look yourself in the mirror and say to yourself, do I love myself enough to see if the damn works? And give it 60 days. Just like, for example, a lot of you weak asses, well, I have to have a cheat day. Nah, nigga, you don't cheat on your wife once every 60 days. How about for 60 damn days, shut my damn bright ass up. 60 days, 1 meal a day. Get permission from your doctor first and see what happens and actually stick to it. Watch what happens to you. Watch what happens to you. But a lot of you too damn weak. But that's been Captain Shem with Lar Back Attack. I ain't changing my way for none of you. Shalom.
Hey, Israel, Most High Christ bless. Hey, look, if y'all want to continue to see shows like this, give alms. Also, make sure y'all give alms to y'all school. Remember, we got the schools are our little sanctuaries. Make sure y'all give locally. Make sure y'all give to the Booster Club. If y'all want to support here in New Orleans, y'all can give to the school via PayPal at iuic.neworleans@israelunite.org. And again, make sure y'all give to the Booster Club at iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org. Also, make sure y'all donate to the Land Fund. You can donate to the Land Fund via PayPal using the email israel@israelunite.org. Make sure you label it in the notes, land.
Welcome back. Thank you for sticking with us. The last section, listen, I'm not going to hold back. I really want everybody to be healthy. You can do it. We have to hold each other accountable. Please support our website, www.israelunite.org. Also go to our YouTube page, IUIC New Orleans, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification, share our videos, comment. Thank you for all the brothers and sisters who do give us ideas. I really appreciate you. Gigs, where you at? You sleep over there in Austria? Appreciate you. We're trying to grow. We're working a work in progress. We appreciate you. And if any improvement, things you want us to talk about. I ain't changing the way with the Lar Back. I ain't changing that for none of you. I don't give a damn. And how you type it, I don't give a damn. Okay? Because you can lose the weight. We can do it together. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get it together. So with that, any last words, brothers? We want to get the hell out of here. With that, we say shalom.
Shalom.
Look, I see matches in the kingdom. I see hunters slaying demons. I see fire on this earth coming down like Hiroshima. I see prophets rising up, prophesying scriptures cut. I see Christ, he coming